The giant Arctic fox, imagining a larger version of Vulpes lagopus. The Arctic fox, Vulpes lagopus, is a master of survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the Arctic tundra. With its thick fur, incredible adaptability, and resourceful hunting techniques, the Arctic fox thrives in icy landscapes. But what if this small, resilient predator were much larger? A giant Arctic fox, scaled up to rival other apex predators in size, would transform the ecosystem and its role within it. Let's dive into an exploration of what a giant Arctic fox might look like, how it would adapt, and how it would interact with its environment. 1. Physical characteristics. Scaling up the Arctic fox. The Arctic fox is typically small, with adult males weighing around 6 to 9 pounds, 2.7 to 4.1 kilograms, and measuring about 18 to 27 inches, 46 to 68 centimeters, in body length. A giant Arctic fox would drastically increase in size, potentially weighing up to 150 pounds, 68 kilograms, and measuring over 6 feet, 1.8 meters, from nose to tail. Here's how its physical traits might scale. Thicker, larger fur coat. The Arctic fox's thick, multi-layered fur already makes it one of the best insulated mammals. A giant Arctic fox would have even denser fur to maintain body heat, especially with a larger surface area to keep warm. Its white winter coat would likely remain, providing camouflage against snowy landscapes. Larger paws for snow travel. To support its increased weight, a giant Arctic fox would develop broader, snowshoe-like paws, distributing its weight more evenly and allowing it to move easily across snow and ice. Powerful jaws and teeth. A larger size would require a more robust jaw structure. The giant Arctic fox would likely have larger teeth and a stronger bite force, enabling it to hunt larger prey or defend itself against potential threats. Increased strength and endurance. With its increased size, the giant Arctic fox would possess greater strength, allowing it to overpower prey much larger than a standard Arctic fox could manage. However, it would also require greater stamina to roam across vast Arctic expanses in search of food. 2. Adaptations for survival in the Arctic. The Arctic fox is already highly adapted to its extreme environment. A larger version would need to amplify these traits to maintain survival in the frigid Arctic. Insulation and thermoregulation. The Arctic fox's current fur is so effective that it can survive temperatures as low as -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius. A giant Arctic fox would require even more efficient insulation to prevent heat loss, particularly in areas like its extremities, ears, tail, and paws. Its bushy tail, already used as a blanket, would become even larger, providing extra warmth during harsh winters. Hunting and scavenging strategies. A larger Arctic fox would shift its diet to include bigger prey, such as caribou calves, seals, or even scavenging the kills of polar bears. It might also expand its scavenging habits, using its size to intimidate smaller predators like wolves or wolverines away from their kills. Migration and movement. The current Arctic fox is known for its incredible migratory behavior, traveling hundreds of miles in search of food. A giant Arctic fox would require more substantial energy reserves and an efficient gait to cover such distances. Its larger size might limit its ability to migrate as far, but it could compensate by dominating a wider hunting territory. 3. Role in the ecosystem. A giant Arctic fox would significantly alter the Arctic food web. Let's examine how its presence might impact various species. Competition with polar bears and wolves. A larger Arctic fox would likely compete with polar bears, wolves, and wolverines for food. Its size and strength could allow it to take over kills or defend its own resources. However, such competition could also lead to conflict, especially with territorial predators. Impact on prey populations. The standard Arctic fox primarily hunts small mammals like lemmings and birds. A giant Arctic fox would target larger prey, potentially affecting populations of caribou calves, seals, or even Arctic hares. Its predation could shift the balance of prey species in the ecosystem. Scavenger role. Despite its larger size, the giant Arctic fox would likely retain some of its scavenger habits. It might feed on the remains of seals left by polar bears or scavenge from wolf kills. This behavior would maintain its ecological role as a cleaner of the Arctic landscape. Impact on smaller predators. Smaller predators, such as ermine or Arctic wolves, might be displaced by the giant Arctic fox. Its dominance in the ecosystem could push these species to adapt by altering their hunting patterns or migrating to less contested areas. 4. Behavior and social structure. Solitary or pack behavior. Standard Arctic foxes are largely solitary, but a larger version might adopt a more social structure, similar to wolves, to hunt larger prey or defend territory. Pack behavior could enhance their hunting success and territorial dominance. Territorial range. A giant Arctic fox would require a much larger territory to support its increased caloric needs. This could lead to more aggressive territorial disputes with other predators. Denning habits. The Arctic fox builds dens for shelter and raising young. A larger version would need larger dens, possibly digging deeper into permafrost or occupying natural caves to accommodate its size. 5. Potential challenges for a giant Arctic fox. While a larger size offers numerous advantages, it also presents significant challenges. Higher energy demands. A giant Arctic fox would require significantly more food to sustain its larger body, making it more vulnerable during periods of food scarcity, especially in winter. Vulnerability to human activity. Human activity, including habitat destruction, climate change, and hunting, could pose greater risks to a larger predator. Its increased need for territory might bring it into conflict with human settlements or industries. Adapting to a changing Arctic. As the Arctic continues to warm due to climate change, the giant Arctic fox would face new challenges, such as reduced snow cover for camouflage and changes in prey availability. 6. Fascination with a giant Arctic fox. The idea of a giant Arctic fox captivates the imagination, blending the resilience and adaptability of the current species with the awe-inspiring presence of a much larger predator. Such a creature would redefine the Arctic ecosystem, standing as a symbol of survival in one of the planet's most extreme environments. Conclusion. A giant Arctic fox, scaled to rival the size of today's apex predators, would transform the Arctic ecosystem. With its enhanced size, strength, and hunting capabilities, it would dominate its icy domain while facing unique challenges to its survival. Whether competing with polar bears, preying on larger animals, or adapting to a changing climate, the giant Arctic fox would be a formidable and fascinating creature. While this remains a hypothetical scenario, imagining such an animal deepens our appreciation for the Arctic fox as a symbol of resilience and adaptability in one of the world's harshest habitats. Thank you for watching Wild Diary Florence. If you enjoyed this exploration of the giant Arctic fox, please like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing wildlife content. What do you think would be the greatest challenge or strength of this incredible creature? Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned for more thrilling wildlife scenarios.